What up, y'all? Amazon is the #1 online retailer in the world. So of course it's only right that they come up with their own game show on Prime Video. Y'all, let me tell you, they have managed to come up with a game show that literally combines our love for shopping on their website with our love of competition. They are getting ready to bring you on November 20th Amazon Wishlist Games. Now, this game show is hosted by none other than Nick Cannon, and he be hosting everything. Like, he's literally everywhere. And it's also co-hosted by Lele Pons. You may know her from Dancing with the Stars. But let me tell you about this game show. First and foremost, I love watching game shows. I watched them growing up with my grandmothers, specifically from Wheel of Fortune to Chain Reaction to No Whammy. So obviously this was up my alley, okay? Let me break it down for you. So everybody in the audience has the opportunity to be a contestant, much like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or The Price is Right. All right, are you tracking? Tracking, cool. Well, everybody gets the opportunity to select 10 items on their wish list, and they're able to compete in different games so that they can get any of the items on their wish list. Now, each episode has a different game, and they also have different rules, but every contestant is able to win to all of their items on their wish list. Now, the best part about this show is that everybody actually is a winner the way that they advertise. How do they do that? Well, the very last contestant on each episode ends up competing for the entire audience, and they get the opportunity to win either something for the audience or a grand prize for each audience member individually. Now, tell me that that's not a genius plan. It's genius, right? All right. Anyways, if you love game shows and you love Amazon, and maybe some of the contestants are looking and shopping for some things that you not even thought about anymore, then head on over to Prime Video and watch Amazon Wishlist Games. And if you really bought it, then maybe you'll sign up to be a contestant on the show in the future. And with that, let's get started. What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I'm your hostess, doing the mostest, Kevon She, and we are here with Crazy Stupid Love for Lovember in November with our rom-com movie series on Wednesdays. Now, this movie is very interesting because I saw a lot of the memes, I saw a lot of the GIFs, and I had never seen the movie at all. So unlike the other movies that I'm doing this month that I have seen, and so it's just like a refresher and it's just really fun, I hadn't seen this movie in its entirety at all. When I tell you it made me laugh from start to finish, I was in stitches. So honestly, the cast itself is like super stacked, so I'm gonna just get into that information right now because I literally cannot start talking about anything without telling you who's in it so that you know exactly why it's funny. First and foremost, it came out in 2011, so I don't even really like rom-coms beyond 2005, but this one definitely took me by surprise. It was 1 hour and 58 minutes, and I can honestly say that I did not feel like I was watching a movie for 2 hours, and that is a good thing because I promise you, rom-coms after 2012, they do not keep my interest. I'm uninterested. I'm sorry. I don't know. The comedy aspect of it is just not the same anymore, but I digress. It was written by Dan Fogelman, and the logline is a middle-aged husband's life changes dramatically when his wife asks him for a divorce. He seeks to rediscover his manhood with the help of a newfound friend, Jacob, learning to pick up girls at bars. The genre is comedy, romance, and drama. The director is Ficarra and John Requa. The director of photography is Andrew Dunn, and it stars, bear with me, Steve Carrell as Cal, Ryan Gosling as Jacob, Julianne Moore as Emily, Emma Roberts as Hannah, aka Nana, Lio Tipton as Jessica, Jonah Bobo as Robbie, Joey King as Molly. And it was so interesting to see her because I'm like, oh my god, look at little Gypsy Rose. Marisa Tomei, we love her since A Different World. She plays Kate. Kevin Bacon, we love him too, and he's a Beehive member. Hello. As David Lindhagen. John Carroll Lynch as Bernie. Beth Littleford as Claire, and Liza Lapira as Liz. So y'all already know my film reviews are not necessarily the longest because I want to leave y'all with like a little bit of something to make you go watch the show. If I give you everything word for word, why would you go watch the movie? And they want you to go watch the movie. So you can find this, you can rent it, or you can buy it on Prime Video. I looked up a lot of the other places that you can watch it, and you needed to have the premium subscription service for all those other services. So if you have it, you might be able to get it because you're already paying for like YouTube Premium or something else premium, maybe like Hulu Premium. But I rented it on Prime Video because I don't have premium on all the other channels. So that is first and foremost. So the logline already talks about Cal, his wife, Emily, approached him literally in the opening and was just like, I want a divorce. And he doesn't really do anything. He kind of just is numb to the information that is presented to him. And while she already confessed that she slept with her coworker, David Lindhagen, which everybody ends up knowing about by the end of this movie, you can just kind of tell that she's kind of going through something that is triggering some kind of response where something is no longer in their marriage that's keeping them together. And even in the beginning where you might be tempted to look at her as a bad guy, the fact that Cal didn't respond at all, like there's no fight, there's no argument, there's no trying to question why she did this or why she wants this in the first place, it kind of lets you know within the first 5 minutes of the movie the state of their marriage. So starting off at the movie, we have him kind of processing some of the information, but he's not necessarily processing it in the best way. So he moves out, you know, he's immediately like, okay, let me give her some space and let me just kind of like move on and try to figure out like what life is like without her. They met in high school. He's only been with her. She's only been with him. And they got married young at the age of 17. So they only know each other. But when she's trying to talk to him about these things and maybe some of the things that she's been struggling with and some of the things that she's been thinking about outside of even sleeping with her coworker, which it seems as though she only slept with him one time, just talking about the other things within a relationship, he doesn't want to talk about it. He only wants to focus on the cheating. So out the gate, we're looking at somebody who is deserving of being hurt and deserving of expressing his feelings, but he's not looking inward and having some self-reflection and figuring out where in their marriage did he contribute to them not being able to make it work. So he's going to this bar and he's just yelling all his business, all drunk and everything, when Jacob, played by Ryan Gosling, kind of steps in there like a fairy godaddy, okay, like a hitch, you know what I mean? And he's just like, listen, you coming in here and you're fucking pitiful every single night. Why do we all know who your wife cheated on you with? Like, let's get it together. You know what? I'm gonna do you a favor and I'm gonna help you get your groove back and I'm gonna help you move on. But Cal doesn't want to move on and he's like, okay, listen, you don't want to move on, that's cool. I'm still gonna teach you the tools. I'm gonna teach you how to Mac, you know what I'm saying? But if you're still trying to get with your wife, then you're really gonna need to figure out like what the hell is going on with you. And in one of the scenes, even though this is a comedy and the way that Ryan Gosling delivered this was absolutely hilarious, he said something that is basically the crux of the movie. Your wife didn't sleep with David Lindhagen because she wanted to just sleep with David Lindhagen. She slept with him and cheated on you because you forgot who you were. You forgot your self-esteem and what you bring to the relationship, which means once you stopped caring about yourself, you stopped caring and paying attention to your own wife, and now she's seeking the attention from somewhere else. So that kind of gives Cal some perspective, but he's inexperienced. And what does an inexperienced man do when he's trying to figure out like what's going on in his own relationship? Well, he begins to experience with his penis. So he ended up experiencing a lot of different women, a lot of different situations and things of that nature, but that is just not who he is. Now, what I also love about this movie and what makes it 2 hours long and kind of ties everything together is there's a lot of 6 degrees of separation going on here, as well as you have the theme of people liking somebody or loving somebody that they shouldn't love, people running away or messing up a relationship that they really want, and people finding love in places that they never thought that they would find. So we have Cal and Emily's son who's in love with the babysitter. The babysitter is in love with Cal. Cal is out here trying to move on from his wife Emily, but he's really in love with Emily. Emily works with the man that she cheated on Cal with, and so then now he's there. But then we have Jacob, who he just unsuspectedly met in a bar, who ends up loving his eldest daughter. But one of the women that Cal slept with ended up being his son's teacher. And so we have one of the most memed rom-coms in this whole movie, brought together by this amazing cast. And it's really all about, you know, we have love at the core of things and it's the nucleus, but depending on what stage you are in life, whether adolescence, late teens, early 20s, you know, late 30s, early 40s, mid 30s, and you have all of these decisions and you have your own personal experiences that cause you to interpret love in a way that is both crazy and stupid. But at the end of it, it's still about love, how you interpret it and the things that you're willing to do to get through it. Now, this is one of those rom-coms that's not necessarily rooted in this stranger runs into this stranger and it's love at first sight. You end up with a story where it's a very flawed relationship. It opens up with, I want a divorce. But even as she's saying that she wants a divorce, you could tell that she wanted him to fight for something and to say something and to fight for their relationship. So they're both stumbling throughout the entire movie, even though they both don't want to move on. And in some cases where you get high school sweethearts where it's really like you're inexperienced and you really want to experience other people, and you find out that you were stunted and you find out that you want more out of life and you've outgrown your partner that you've known since you were 16. This ends up being one of those love stories where they do separate for a little bit, but in their separation they figure out that, yeah, I was young, but I knew exactly what I wanted. I went out here in the streets and it is ghetto. But not only is it ghetto, when I look back at the home that I have, it's everything that I wanted. But we never communicated the fact that we may have longed for something else or wanted to experience something else. And having that conversation with your partner is very important. But we find out that in this entire movie, the things that should have happened, the conversation that should have been held, were never there. Why? Because you got together when you were babies. You were 15 years old when you fell in love. But much like rom-coms and things of that nature, everything is going to be cheesy. Everything is always going to be about, you know, taking a chance and jumping in head first and allowing a situation to push you in a place that is uncomfortable, in a place that you've never been, in a state of mind, in a state of feeling that is unlike you. And so in this entire movie, this is actually a movie that I would watch over and over and over again because there's a lot of misunderstanding. But there's a lot of things that I think that people can learn from and reflect on in their own relationships as far as having those difficult conversations. Even if you don't want to, or you're thinking about getting a divorce or breaking up, just going to your partner and being like, hey, I'm having these thoughts, I'm having these feelings, let's talk about it. Now, it's easier said than done, okay? But if this movie taught me nothing else, it's that if you truly want to be with the person that you're with, you will weather the storm of what this conversation might look like, as long as the both of you have a common goal of getting back to each other and strengthening whatever it was that you have, patching up the crack that may have found its way into your foundation, and still being willing to move on and move forward in the love that you have and in the love that you built. A subset of that is also with the kids and stuff involved. Like I said, the one son is in love with his babysitter, and then she's in love with him. We also have a sub lesson of what it's like to have your first crush or have your first love, not only as a teenager to your teenage babysitter, but even being like a young adult or like an almost adult into that adult world, where in this case both of those characters are trying to grow up faster than they should, and they're not allowing themselves the space to experience those things where they are. For him to experience love in high school and the breakups and the makeups, for her to experience love in college and the breakups and the makeups, and it forces you to sit and go through the stages in life so that you can actually learn what love is and kind of access those new levels so that you can apply them in a bunch of situations. But then the last theme in there is also the main two characters, Cal and Emily, how they love, how they resolve situations, their children, and the kids who are watching them, whether it's their kids or somebody else's kids. They're learning how to navigate, and they're learning the definition of what it is and how to apply love. How do you problem solve? How do you work things out? How do you deal with being hurt? How do you deal with moving on? So in this movie that's full of memes, full of laughs, Ryan Gosling is absolutely amazing. Steve Carrell is insanely hilarious in this movie, and their chemistry is so perfect. It still like goes to the heart of everything, of it just being like, I don't know, it's just like a really pure movie. It was one of the rom-coms that's not stupid. Like, to me, a lot of rom-coms are just like unbelievable. Like, okay, like, no, this will never happen in real life. But that's the best part about a rom-com. But in this situation, you know, sometimes the world is that small, but I like that it was rooted in a serious conversation. What do you do when you feel that your marriage isn't going anywhere? And so this is one of those rom-coms, and I'm super excited because somebody suggested it to me on Twitter. And it was a good suggestion. I didn't feel like I wasted my time. I loved it. I would love a part 2. It gave me like Meet the Fockers a little bit. So I would love a part 2 to see like what's going on with some of the characters, how they've moved forward, and where we are with the kids, if they've grown up, what does their relationship and dating and stuff look like, because I think it's important for people to see healthy relationships, healthy arguments, for people to see people break up and come back together. And find their way back. And then sometimes you don't find your way back at all, and that's okay. But if you can put it in a way that's palatable to the audience, I think that a part 2 would absolutely make sense. And I'm not a sequel girly, like, at all. But I would absolutely enjoy seeing Ryan Gosling, Steve Carrell, Julianne Moore, Lio Tipton. I would love to see all of them come back. Marisa Tomei, did her character find a man? Who knows? I don't know. I would love that for sure. So there's that. Crazy Stupid Love for Lovember. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment in the comment box below. Again, if you know somebody in your life, they don't want to watch these videos, but they like listening, go ahead and share the Spotify link as well as the Apple Podcast link. You can also follow me and other shows that I post on my Instagram at So There's That Podcast. And if you want to know all of the inner workings of my brain, you can follow me on Twitter at Kivanshi as well as Blue Sky at Kivanshi there as well. Any announcements to make? Let's see. I don't think I have any announcements that I want to say right now, but if you're paying attention, I can't even talk. If you're paying attention, then you probably already know a little bit of something, and if you're not paying attention, then maybe you should. But other than that, oh my goodness, we are like ramping up to 100 episodes. It's crazy. I had so much fun doing the 50th episode giveaway. So I need to start thinking about the 100th episode giveaway. If y'all got ideas, put them in the comment box below. Even if it's an idea that's only unique to you or selfish to you, listen. If you watch me, if you follow me, if you interact with me, if you're commenting, then you should put what you would like in the comments. I would love to cater to you, because if one wants it, then chances are other people do as well. So I'm really excited. We might get there before the end of the year. So be on the lookout for some announcements and for some giveaways. We may have another partnership in the works. I can't say nothing just yet, but we might. Your girl's been out here working hard. It's just me. I'm the agent, I'm the manager, I'm the publicist, I'm the marketer, I'm HR, I'm all of those things, and I do it because I love it. I do it because I love y'all. Everybody who's constantly commenting underneath my posts, thank you so much. So obviously y'all know when the 100th episode comes, I'm gonna be going into my comment section to see like who's rocking with me, because I may do something very like specific for subscribers only, because y'all the bomb. But anyways, that is gonna wrap up this episode. Once again, if you have not seen it, go ahead and watch Crazy Stupid Love, and make sure that you watch on Prime Video Amazon Wish List Games. The holiday season is coming up. Even if you can't get on the show in the future, you can go ahead and look at some of the items the contestants get, and you can go ahead and put it in your shopping cart. Why? Because Black Friday is coming up on Amazon from November 21st through the 29th. Start adding stuff to your cart. Start getting stuff for the low, getting stuff for the discounts. If it's not for others, go ahead and get you something for yourself, because you deserve, okay? So make sure you tune in on Prime Video, again, Amazon Wish List Games. That's gonna wrap up today's episode, and I will catch y'all in the next one.